who was partners with L.A. Reid and Babyface in Atlanta, and these guys had this competitiveness. L.A. had a girls group. I bet you don't know who his lead singer was.
No.
Pink.
Oh, okay.
She's the exact same age as Beyonce, and there used to be this battle which group was better. You had Usher. He was the same age. They were all 14 and 15 years old living in Atlanta.
Trainers have been training older artists to lie and say they were as much as 10 years younger than they were. It's all to sell you records, to sell you a...
Hey Beehive, quick question. How old is your queen, really? Honestly, no one knows for sure. Only a few people close to her, like family members or those who were once part of her inner circle, might know the real answer. Recently, Beyoncé has been facing some criticism after comments made by her parents raised eyebrows about her age. Things got even more interesting when her former stepfather, Richard Lawson, was mentioned in the conversation. Now, reports say her team is working hard to shut down the rumors. But then, some documents leaked online, and people think they suggest she may not have been fully honest about her age. Still, it's unclear if this is real evidence or just a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Now, Beyonce was born in 1981. I don't know how that picture of her standing up, almost hip-high to her mother, happened. Like I said, it was the largest infant I ever seen in my life.
Let's be real for a second. Changing your age isn't anything new in Hollywood. It's actually more common than people think. Some celebrities do it to protect their personal lives, while others feel pressured because of ageism in the industry. This especially affects women. The entertainment world often favors younger talent, so even a small change in age can mean more roles, better opportunities, and staying relevant for longer. Because of that, a lot of stars have adjusted their ages at some point. For example, Nelly reportedly told people he was born in 1978 when he first got signed, even though records later showed he was actually born in 1974. Then you have Whoopi Goldberg, who went the opposite direction and added a few years to her age so she would seem more experienced in the industry. The key difference here is that both of them eventually admitted it. That honesty made it less of a long-term controversy. Now, when it comes to Beyoncé, the situation feels a lot more complicated. She has always maintained that she was born in 1981, which would make her 44 years old right now. For a long time, no one really questioned it seriously. But things started to change when alleged documents from the Texas Department of Health began circulating online. These records claimed she was actually born in 1974, which would create a 7-year difference. A gap that big isn't just a small adjustment, it changes timelines completely. People immediately started connecting dots and questioning past events, including her relationship timeline with Jay-Z. If the earlier birth year were true, it would shift how people view certain moments in her life and career. At first, the Texas Department of Health didn't clearly confirm or deny the documents. That silence only made things more confusing. Then, as the story picked up attention, they came back and said the document was fake and that Beyoncé's birth year is indeed 1981. But that sudden change raised even more questions. People began wondering why such a document appeared in the first place and how it spread so quickly. Some online users even speculated that someone behind the scenes may have stepped in to control the narrative. There's no solid proof of that, but the timing made people suspicious. Once the internet gets involved, every detail gets analyzed, and that's exactly what happened here. Things got even more interesting when old interviews started resurfacing. One moment that caught a lot of attention involved Gabrielle Union. In an interview, she mentioned that she and Beyoncé had been friends since they were teenagers. On the surface, that sounds normal. But when people looked closer, the timeline didn't seem to add up. Gabrielle Union was around 36 at the time of that interview and is now in her early 50s. There's supposed to be about a 9-year age gap between her and Beyoncé. So naturally, people started asking how they could have been teenagers at the same time unless something about their ages wasn't accurate. It created doubt and gave more fuel to the rumors. Another story added to the confusion. During the promotion of Beyoncé's surprise album in 2013, a woman named Bayuna Goladrea claimed she went to high school with her in Houston. She described seeing Beyoncé in the hallways, singing to herself, and showing early signs of becoming a star. It sounded like a sweet and believable memory. But again, when people looked at the ages, something didn't match. At the time, Beyonce was 35, while Beyoncé was set to be 32. That difference made it unlikely they were in the same class, unless one of them had the wrong age publicly listed. Once again, the internet picked up on that and added it to the growing list of questions. At this point, the whole situation feels like a deep rabbit hole. Some people believe it's all just misunderstandings, mixed timelines, and internet overthinking. Others are convinced there's more to the story and that small slip-ups over the years are revealing something bigger. In the end, there's still no confirmed proof that Beyoncé has ever lied about her age. Official records support her claim, and her team has continued to stand by that. But as long as these stories, interviews, and documents keep resurfacing, people will continue to debate it. That's how things work in the world of celebrities. One small detail can turn into a huge conversation overnight. And whether this is truth, coincidence, or just speculation, it's definitely got people paying attention.
I remember her, just small school, I remember her passing through the hallways, and I mean, she was stunning. She was just a stunning woman. But she would sing, I can hear her in the hallways and walking by. And I just remember, and I'm not just saying this, but I remember saying, wow, that girl is something. And I didn't really know much about her because we didn't have classes and she was in a different art area. I was a theater major. But she stood out. And then years later in college, one of my other good friends called me and said, open your yearbook and look at whatever page, because I didn't put Destiny's Child was already a big deal.
Right.
I just didn't make the connection because she looked so different. And so for 2 years, I'm Bills, all of these songs that I thought were great. I didn't even make the connection that she went to my high school.
And according to Richard Lawson, the confusion only grew because of something Tina Knowles once shared. She said she took Beyoncé to see the Jacksons during their Triumph tour when Beyoncé was just 3 years old. Tina explained that this moment inspired her daughter and made her realize she was meant to perform on big stages.
When Beyoncé was 3, I took her to the Triumph tour with Michael Jackson and his brothers.
Wow.
And my friend said, well, if you go to this certain area at the Astrodome, he's gonna come out that way. So I had her out there, it was a group of about 20 people. He walks over, tries to grab her. And she loved him so much, she was just overwhelmed as kids do, and she just started crying, and she wouldn't go to him.
Yeah.
But what are the odds of that?
Wow.
And she said then, I'm gonna be like Michael Jackson. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Look at her now.
Look at her now. And I just think that that's how fate and God work.
The issue here is simple. The timeline doesn't really match. The tour Tina talked about took place in 1981. So, if Beyoncé was also born that same year, it wouldn't make sense for her to be 3 years old at the time. That's why people started questioning the story. But to be fair, there could be an easy explanation. Sometimes people mix up details, especially when they're telling stories from decades ago. Tina Knowles is known for being expressive, and it's possible she simply misspoke. Maybe she actually meant the Victory Tour instead. That would make more sense, since Beyoncé would have been around 3 years old in 1984 if her birth year is correct.
Partners with L.A. Reid and Babyface in Atlanta, and these guys had this competitiveness. L.A. had a girls group. Bet you don't know who his lead singer was.
No.
Pink.
Oh.
She's the exact same age as Beyonce, and there used to be this battle which group was better. You had Usher. He was the same age. They were all 14 and 15 years old, living in Atlanta.
Also, it's important to remember that she shared this memory many years later. When you're talking about something that happened over 30 years ago, small mistakes are normal. Dates and timelines can easily get mixed up without meaning anything serious. However, things started to look a bit more questionable when Matthew Knowles made a similar comment. In a radio interview, he said Beyoncé was coming up in the industry at the same time as Usher and Pink, suggesting they were around the same age. The problem is, both Usher and Pink are actually older than Beyoncé. That's what made people pause and start asking more questions. 5. When it comes to the Carter family, it's always hard for people to separate facts from rumors. There's constantly some kind of gossip surrounding them, and while many stories are exaggerated, a few have turned out to be partially true over time. Recently, claims have been circulating involving Beyoncé and her family. Some online discussions suggest that her former stepfather has expressed frustration about Tina Knowles and the way certain personal matters were handled within the family. According to these rumors, he has allegedly spoken about issues behind the scenes, including questions about Beyoncé's public image, her age, and even her relationship with Jay-Z. However, None of these claims have been officially confirmed, and most of them come from social media discussions and secondhand stories. Still, the internet loves a mystery, and once a topic starts trending, people begin connecting dots whether they fully fit or not. Some users also believe they remember older interviews or TV moments where her father nearly revealed sensitive information, but again, those clips are often taken out of context or interpreted differently over time. Memories online can easily get distorted, especially when people are looking for hidden meaning in old footage. At the end of the day, there is no verified proof that any of these claims are accurate. Much of it remains speculation, repeated conversations, and fan theories rather than solid facts. But because Beyoncé is such a global figure, even small rumors quickly grow into big debates. Now the real question is simple. Do you think there's any truth behind these stories, or is it just the internet doing what it does best, turning speculation into drama?